Hey everyone, in today's episode we're joined by Kieran Bain and Lee Kerr from Panjea, the exciting platform for content creators that is building on Aleph Zero. We meet shortly after announcing Pangea's participation in the EFP, so it's the perfect moment to introduce the Aleph Zero community to the project, even though it's the second most popular project on our ecosystem page. Before we dive in, let's give our audience a brief overview of what Panjea is, and I'm really curious, what does the name originate from? And yeah, welcome guys.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd just like to say on behalf of Panjea, and that's Lee and myself, thank you very much for having us on, and we're really pleased to be part of the EFP now.
We are also pleased to have you.
Superb. So, should I start, Lee, or do you want to start?
No, you can go for it.
Okay, well, Panjea is the Web3 creator economy. It's designed to reward creators for every view on their work from a daily emissions pool. We also have two other real main aspects in which we serve creators. First of all, we're concerned with creator and network safety, which is why we have community moderation features and what Lee calls a proof of life, which is a privately encrypted smart contract KYC system which makes sure that every user on Panjea is a real human user. The second way we look after our creators is we allow them to be curators too, which is we allow them to curate the network. So rather than having an algorithm that sets up how content is found, we allow the users to set up how content is found. And to talk about Panjea, why it's called Panjea is actually Simon Roddice, he's our brand director, chose Panjea because Panjea is about bringing a landmass together. It's a world where everybody's connected through one landmass. And we think for a long time that the internet, which was set up to kind of bring people together, has been about driving people apart. It's created division. People are being sold stuff. Are you good enough? You look at social media. I'm kind of moving on a bit quickly here, but yeah, it's about Panjea, and Panjea is about bringing the world back together.
Yeah, so let's jump into those challenges that you just mentioned with Web2 and current platforms. So why did you decide to create Pangaea, and what are the most pressing problems that you guys identified and now you are trying to solve with the platform?
So I think we were in a podcast with Matt Nymerg, the Aleph Zero ID guys, Interlock, Kintsu, a few of the other real players in the ecosystem. And King Solomon asked us a question, or he made a comment, which is one of my favorite comments, which is, if the platform is free, then you are the product. Jaron Lanier quote, which actually he changed later to say, if the platform is free, then it's the small, interceptable change in your behavior that's the product. But if we look at that, all Web 2 has you, the human being, as the product. Your data is collected, it's served up to advertisers, your engagement is prioritized. So all the platform cares about is keeping your eyes on the screen for as long as possible at all costs. And the algorithm will work to trigger you, to upset you, to provoke you, to incite you, to repeat the opinions that you already think, anything to keep your eyes on that screen to keep serving you up ad clicks. And I think that the world is now starting to wake up to the problems that this is creating. People are now, we went along with the Internet Project. The Internet Project was a great project. People had a lot of hope in it that it was going to bring people together. It did at first. And now the trouble is people are starting to say, well, what's the cost of this? What's the cost of it? I mean, one really interesting stat I always get out is Instagram. Instagram has the highest number of paid for creators out of any platform. 46% of all creators who are making a living from the internet are doing so through Instagram. Yet, two-thirds of Instagram users, particularly young women, are absolutely made to feel bad by the images projected on Instagram, by the sort of fake lifestyles people are creating. And this is because when you have a platform that's all about the advertisers, everything on the platform becomes an advert. People are advertising lifestyles, people are advertising products, people are sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends or Squarespace or this next thing you see. So everybody on the internet now is selling something. It's very hard to find something that is just about the content, just about the ideas. And I think that's the real problem. It's pushing people apart.
Yeah, but on that point, what makes Panjea different, not only the technical aspect, but also in the aspect of how would you like people to use it? How would you make them feel better than when using Instagram?
Okay, so Panjea is entirely community curated. So the idea is that with Panjea, if we give the creators the tools to do what they want, they will create an internet site and an internet site that works around connection. So if we try to force people to do this through our site, then we're no different from the Web2 guys who are trying to force behaviors, force people to do certain actions on the site. With Pangea, we want to give people a set of tools, which is the tool to, like I said, which is the tool to monetize and the tool to curate and community led tools. And with those tools, then they'll be free to make the content that they want to make and see how that content is accepted and how the community reacts to that content. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is kind of an idea similar to what TikTok was built on, probably, because first videos on TikTok, of course, it's great for engagement. It's really, the algorithm is, crazy how tailored the content is that you're getting served. But I think it also showed really creative stuff, and it's probably mostly like this can work out, right? This is the pure affirmation of that.
I think we see with every single platform that arises that when that platform arises, there's a rush of creativity into that platform as
Yes.
people discover it and try to explore it and really get the benefit of being able to be the stars on that platform. And that's what they want. They want to be the stars and they want to be important on it. But with each of these platforms, eventually the bottom drops out because there is no actual sustainable lifestyle presented to the creators. And this is really what makes Pangea different, is that we've thought about the little guy, we've thought about the creator, we're concerned about the creator, and we think that currently they work for all platforms for free. So it's said out there that every Facebook user earns Facebook $40 a year. You put all your life on Facebook, you put your photos on Facebook, or maybe your grandma does, maybe you don't do it anymore. But really, the creators on internet platforms, they're the lifeblood of the platforms. They make the platforms work, and they've been forgotten. And this is having a tremendous effect in the world. I mean, journalism is almost dead. It's hard to find journalism that doesn't push an agenda. It's hard to find information that's not got some kind of authority behind it. Fake news is at an all-time high. And it's time that we said to the creator that their creative has some sort of value. And this isn't a new idea. We used to have magazines, we used to have books, we used to have CDs where creators were paid okay. The middlemen obviously made a lot of money. And what Panjea does is it looks after the creators by getting rid of the middlemen and allowing them to have a direct financial relationship with the audience. And that's the kind of primary difference that it makes, and so that the creators can have a sustainable lifestyle creating the content they want to create, not the content advertisers tell them to create or that the platforms prioritize or pushes products. Is there anything that I've missed there, Lee? Is there anything that I've...
No, it's totally that. Web2 has kind of normalized the idea that creativity should be given away for free. And when you think about all of the amazing moments that people enjoy on these platforms, be it Instagram, TikTok, whatever, it's the content creator. No one goes onto Instagram and goes, God, this platform is brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the API is amazing. Do you know what I mean? I can't, this navigation is epic. Like you go on there and you remember the funny stuff, the guy doing stupid dances or someone drawing Pepe's or someone singing a stupid song or I don't care about your crypto boy or whatever it be. That's the stuff you remember. And they're the people that aren't getting rewarded. They're the people that are expected to give everything away for free. And it's normalized it, and that needs to change because that is the lifeblood of all these platforms.
That might also go to the incentive, right? Because I think eventually someone is building their audience on creativity and then they don't get paid for that. So then what they do? They rush to sponsors, right?
Exactly. The content changes because it has to, because people need to eat and pay for rent. So
Yes.
Yes. Can I just add to that as well?
Yeah, please
One of
do.
the biggest problems that creators face, and this is very rarely talked about, is creator burnout. Because the algorithms are always prioritizing the new content. New content hangs around for a very short time. They have a very short window of time of which to make money out of that content. They're forced to be producing constant content. And then what you see with creators is creators who become successful. They can become successful for a very little amount of time. And then because they have to go from being creators to business people and kind of almost making a content factory, this is often not intuitive for them because they're creative people. They're into writing, they're into art, they're into creating music. What they're not into is creating a business behind them who's constantly going to push out content, like hiring a set of video editors in Africa or India, or like a lot of them do now. It's very difficult to do that. And a lot of them don't have the business skills or the money to do that. So what you're seeing is the creator burnout. Whereas if we had a platform, or with the plan that Panjea has to prioritize content and make sure that content is always available, and that content and the linking of content is the important thing, we're hoping that creators can stand on the quality of their work and not have to keep making their work eternally relevant with news events, so that they kind of getting stretched and burnt out.
Look at what happened with BitBoy Crypto. I mean,
Yeah,
he got
yeah,
fired by his own channel. So the original guy, the face of the brand, so to speak, they
yeah.
actually kicked him out. I mean, that is just mind-blowingly strange. But that's what happens when you're not rewarding the creator directly for the person they are.
Yeah, and also on the point of algorithms, I actually know it firsthand because I used to be a host on quite a large Polish YouTube channel. And yeah, we did good content. People loved it. It had like hundreds of thousands of views. And then right now it's like, it's good if it's 10,000 because, there were newer channels and that's it. I know what you're talking about, but also an important part of the social media or creator economy is of course the network effect that you can reach. And how would you plan Panjea to grow its audience and community? Because without the creators, of course, the platform won't be lively and then it won't attract more people, right?
So we have some plans to build out our beta community. They're kind of under wraps at the moment. But if we get it right, we should use the beta phase to see the initial day one network with quite a lot of content. What we have to do with Pangaea is stay true to our vision that we're going to create the community for our creators. If we can attract the creators and build a community with them, where, for instance, there's a difference between us and, say, Substack or Patreon. With Substack and Patreon, people are very much kept within their own silos. With Pangaea, creators are free to interact across the network. So we get that interaction and people are able to build community and community links. So what we have to do in the early stage is build a community for creators. And if we can build that and make creators really happy there, and they start using the internet in a different way and creating a different experience from the algorithmic driven echo chambers of Web 2, that you come onto Pangaea and you find something that's vibrant, you find something that's lively, where people are talking, where people are creating things together, then that becomes the asset that people come to. So we kind of have two stages. The first stage is that we really have to focus on building and making sure that our creators like the experience, optimizing for their experience. And then if we build this creative community, that will be the asset that everybody else pays to come and view. That's really that simple, yeah?
To add to that, one thing that makes Pangaea attractive versus current platforms is our proof of life mechanism. So Twitter is, I mean, everyone says that it's 2/3 bots. It's probably more, but anyway, we'll say it's 2/3 bots. And you don't know if you're talking to a real person. It could be AI, it could be a scammer. You just don't know, and you can also get attacked pretty easily. I mean, very cheaply. You can buy attacks, and you can just basically silence people through just spamming their account with bots. There's various nefarious ways that you don't really know you're interacting with a real person, the person, or a group of people, whoever. With Proof of Life on Pangaea, you create like a walled garden where everyone owns their own voice. You know you're talking to a real person who's got accountability, and you know you're not talking to AI or getting scammed, or everyone is KYC but not sharing that data, but you're cryptographically proving that you're speaking to a real person. And online nowadays, especially with the rise of AI, that's super important because, I mean, even though I was speaking to Matt, and he said that he was emailed by what he thinks is AI, but they were pretending to be his old university professor. And they
Mhm.
wanted him to submit his information so that he could get sent an invite for a conference. It was very, very sophisticated. The world is a scary place out there. So you need to kind of protect people. And I think a small monthly subscription for that peace of mind, I think it's a great thing. I mean, you're already seeing subscriptions on Twitter, on YouTube. I mean, there's a rumor of Facebook doing it, which I think's hilarious. But it's like it's already happening, and these people are selling your data. The point is, we need to make the internet a safer place, and I think our proof of life mechanism does that.
Yeah, so people are buying those subscriptions, even though, as you said, the platforms still farm their data, right? So, that's maybe the question to you, Lee. And I know that this follows the case you mentioned about KYC. So, why did you choose Aleph Zero in particular to build the platform on? And I think the KYC is a good guide here, I'd say. But what else brought you here?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've got a long history actually with Matt. We've got over a decade in the space now, which is crazy. It feels like 50 years, but 10 years me in crypto is times 10.
Yeah.
So we've got a long history of working together. I've always backed him. He's a super smart guy, very motivated. And we have similar visions in terms of the global economies, and having a moral compass online nowadays is rare. And yeah, he's super dedicated and smart. So I was always backing him as a person. And I was one of the early investors in Aleph before it was even called Aleph 5+ years ago. So I always believed in the vision of the project. But the fact it's enterprise ready, super quick, super cheap, it's the perfect sort of base platform to build popular and busy content creator platform on. It's got all the right tools. It's got private smart contracts, perfect for our proof of life, high throughput, super cheap, and super well connected. And the partners that we've kind of started to sort of pick up along the way, it's so complementary to our platform. Like you've got Interlock, we're talking to them about making sure that all the content on Panjea can be screened, checked for scams, checked for phishing links and nefarious content. Got a Zero ID, which we're looking to partner with and in advanced talks with actually about integrating with those guys and just onboarding people in different ways. I mean, crypto is very brainy in the core, but I mean, that 1% of crypto that's like sort of into it for the tech, you need to also appeal to the other 99% that they don't want. I mean, they don't want the hard way. They don't want the super complicated way. They just want to be a part of the movement, but in a sort of much simpler to understand way.
And how do you plan to implement the proof of life? Are you using the privacy aspects of Aleph Zero and doing this, all by yourself, or are you also looking into some integrations for that?
Yes, we've been speaking to a couple of potential partners, which Kieran can elaborate on actually.
Actually, this seems to be a really big thing in the space at the minute. We're regularly hit up all the time by KYC companies. We've been suggested a couple who we're exploring with Aleph Zero, who are Fractal and GateKnox. We're talking to those guys. One of the most interesting ones that we've seen out there is one that we're talking to who have a system by which they get this biochip that's stored within your passport and use that to create a true, unique KYC verification system. So that's fantastic. I mean, it seems that the industry is really trying very hard to clean itself up after the last few years, and KYC is very heavy. What we're trying to avoid at the moment, though, as we're still quite young, is over-regulating the product. So a lot of the KYC systems come with heavy regulatory backing and ideas, and we want to make sure that we're able to fulfill on our community standards-led promise to the platform.
It makes much sense that,
Yeah.
you kind of follow with the regulations that are there right now. And of course, there's not that many of them yet.
Yeah.
But I think this is the right approach to, stay ahead of the curve.
I'd just like to add something to the last kind of thing that just going back to the community building aspect of it, Mateus. There's one thing that Lee always says, which is that a lot of crypto is an answer looking for a question. And I think, Lee knows more about crypto than me, but I think from everybody I speak to, it almost seems like in the last kind of like crypto boom, there was a push towards products and NFTs and tokens that actually served very little utility other than they became immense stores of value and speculation for moments. Yeah. I think now that crypto and the blockchain is becoming something that is getting more serious and that we need to have utility behind our new protocols. And I think that's what Panjea does. I think Panjea is one of the first ideas that we've seen, and we don't want to blow our trumpet too much on this, but it's one of the first ideas that we've really seen that provides utility for the token. So Panjea is built from a point of view where we came up with an idea of how we wanted a social media network to be, or a content network. In fact, people don't even like the word social media. They prefer the term creator economy. But we've really kind of looked at how a creator economy should behave. We've said that the value is in the community. We've said that people need to access the value of the community. And the token is merely the system by which people are able to access that value. So in that sense, it's not just a token looking for an idea. We're an idea that happens to use a token. Would you say that's right, Lee? Would you? Because it's usually the thing that you say.
Exactly. No, you said it well. No, exactly that. Like, there needs to be a reason for any blockchain token to exist. In the past, like, mining and earning has been the reason, and then, like Kieran says, speculation, or sometimes it's just a fun idea. But there's no value in a fun idea other than if there's no reason to buy it. If there's no value to the content you're putting up because it's free, you can just post whatever. You just post rubbish. If you've got to pay for it, then you will put thought into it and you will put your heart into it, because you're putting your money where your mouth is.
Would you say this is, some kind of making content more like a business, because you buy into that and then you expect to, get some like more in return? Or what's your idea behind that?
It's putting the value back into content. At the moment, the value in content is the amount of clicks it generates, the amount of interest it gets, it's the amount of ad impressions it serves. So, like, content has a value, but the value is to the advertiser. So, the advertiser gets to make all the rules and decide what happens to your work, and you are effectively working for an advertiser for free. With Panjea, it just says that your content has value. So Panjea, that almost takes care of the business for you. It stops you from getting preyed upon by middlemen. I mean, one thing, I'll just take a little bit of a left turn here. One thing that both Lee and I share is that Lee comes from a design background. I come from a creative writing background. And when we were both very early in our career, we both got exploited because we really were very passionate about what we did in the creative realm, but didn't know a lot about business. And people were able to come and take that passion, hijack that passion, and be like, "Oh, you really want this opportunity?" Well, we used to hear something. I used to work in the music industry, and I used to always hear, "Do it for the exposure. Do it because you'll get this chance to interview this pop star, or you'll do this," and you'd go and do it for free. Yeah, and you'd do it for free because there were other kids who were doing it for free, and you would be exploited, endlessly exploited for your work. And so what Panjea does in that sense is take care of the business aspect. We take care of the money so that you don't have to worry about being paid for by middlemen. So rather than like turning your content in a business, it's just saying your content has value. If you put something out there that like advertisers wouldn't like, or big businesses wouldn't like, or the big platforms wouldn't like, you can still get paid for it if people like it. We need ideas. We need ideas that are coming forth and are challenging and are different and are exciting. And with so many people now coming through, and they say that Gen Z is the artist generation, they say this is a new artist generation that we've got growing and want to come up, and they want to have places where they can express themselves. This is what we'd like it to be, and we'd like it to be so they can come and express themselves and get what they deserve and be rewarded, and not have to worry about many of the problems that Lee and I myself faced when being young creators.
Just saying that, it casts my mind back some of the very creative ways they get stuff for free. It will get your foot in the door. Show us what you can do. In other words, work for free. I mean, they were creative. They were creative in getting stuff for free, and very clever at it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I also know what you're talking about. So
yeah, so we have
it is what it is.
Sorry. We have a joke in English. I don't know if it translates into Polish, but we say in English, "Do it for the exposure," and they say people die of exposure. Yeah.
Oh, here I heard "Do it for the prestige."
Yeah. Or like the classic is like, you work for us for free. The next job you get will be the big money. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
great on your CV, great in your portfolio. The next job is the big money. Yeah,
yeah. But you're doing it because
yeah,
there's not,
yeah,
you want something more.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, but the whole idea of Pangea is really great, and it really brings something new to the creator economy, as you said. But also, of course, we know there were somehow similar platforms already there, like Steam. It's at least from what I've been trying to use. So what would you say that's what's your position around the potential competitors or similar platforms? How are you different from them?
Yeah, so I was a top witness on Steam from from the mining phase right at the start through to its kind of petering out demise, fork to Hive clown show that came out of it. But
Hmm.
I saw for the first time, I mean, crypto has always been a big guys club, essentially, when it first came out. I mean, it was very geeky, it was very tech driven. Um, which is great because I was one of those guys. But there wasn't mass adoption because essentially it was too complicated, it was too geeky, it was never going to get mass appeal at that time. Steam, it was kind of the first time that we saw diversity come in. Like, I think that the highest paid post on Steam it was a makeup tutorial, which was like unheard of in crypto. I mean, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And but for suddenly, and again, like Kieran mentioned earlier, when you free creators from advertising and being dictated what they can and can't do. You see massive like creativity that you would never think of. There's some guy built a life-size whale in a harbour in Norway, and when anyone sent Steam to his wallet, it would jet water out the top, and he had like a 24/7 webcam. So people would people would wait for like big groups of people to go past, and then send like one Steam to his wallet and soak everyone. But like just things like that. Like I am funded my local motocross team, like schoolboys team. So like it was like everyone from 6 to sort of 16, and there
Mm.
was like 48 riders, and I designed a complete motocross kit myself and got it printed and gave it to them for free, all based on my earnings from Steam. So it goes to show that what you can do, just the possibilities are endless. And it's such a great idea, and it did get mass adoption, but the tokenomics were junk. There's no max supply. You're forced to bag hold, so it's kind of like a Ponzi. You have to keep your vote power essentially. Although you can sell in small amounts, you can't sell all your tokens because you'd have no vote power and you wouldn't get any earnings. It was dominated by whales, which ironically were the devs. Um, the main dev left. Like he's a serial leaver. He's started
Hmm.
about 7 platforms now, and he's left every single one of them. He gets bored. When stuff gets hard, I'll go and find a new shiny object to polish. But you could upvote and downvote essentially, but you're relying on whales to upvote. But then they can also downvote. So if your post is doing really well and it's competing with theirs, they can downvote and remove all of your earnings. So
Hmm.
you can get bullied out off the network essentially by the competitors. And it just created a horrible toxic atmosphere, which actually helped me develop the tokenomics for Panjea. The experience was a good one in the end, but it
Yeah.
just created a horrible vote begging, just jealous network essentially, and it was not a nice place to be in the end. And then Justin Sun came along, bought out the dev coins for a decentralized platform and took it over, kicked all the witnesses out, replaced them all with sock puppets, and then Hive sort of came out of that aftermath. But it's still the same tokenomics on Hive, so it's still the same begging, jealousy based network. It's shown the appetite for a product in this space, but obviously it has to be the right product. I mean, there's massive appetite for the wrong product. Like Friends Tech is another one. It's a gated economy where you're relying essentially pyramidically for someone to come in and buy your stuff off you and earn a profit. Everyone's focused on that selling to someone else. Whereas if you free people from that and say, look, you don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe, comment below, watch it to the end, all that rubbish. If you viewed my content, you consume my content, you get paid. There's no other caveat. That's the way it should be.
So it seems like it's about the execution, right? Especially with Steam. You have the right idea, but you kind of need to nail it to make it work. And would you, Kieran, have some other, take on the Friends Tech? Because this was the biggest story similarly to your space, right?
First of all, we'd like to say thank you to Friends Tech because Friends Tech has really made people aware of the need for a social fi application that actually works. So A lot of people got into FriendTech. They liked it a lot, the idea of it, but they found that the execution was a little lacking. When it first came out, I remember speaking to many members of the Aleph Zero community as to what that they thought, and they just told me that they felt it was just a speculative platform that didn't have anything behind it, which takes me back to the utility of Panjea. Our token has utility. When you actually look at the utility of the token behind FriendTech, and I believe I'm right in saying this, it gives you access to exclusive content and chat rooms. And whilst I guess I want exclusive content and chat rooms from my creators, is it really worth the amounts of Ethereum that are being passed around on the platform for this experience? I don't think it is. I think it's another speculative bubble. It's yet again crypto struggling to get out of the previous kind of mindset of the previous crypto boom and Web 2. And so what you're seeing is FriendTech is an amalgamation of degen ideas and Web 2 ideas. It's a collision of those two ideas. It's like people's popularity being used to pump coin value, which was absolutely the characteristic of the last bull run. And fair play
Yeah.
to them. They've had a huge transactional volume. Like, the owners have made a lot of money. There's obviously still appetite in the market for it, but is it going to be the lasting success? Blockchain needs a success story. Blockchain needs like the thing that really like kicks it like into the masses. Blockchain needs its Google. It needs its Google moment. Is FriendTech likely to be it? I don't think so. Yes, people at the minute are very down on blockchain, but then also remember we had the dot-com crash in 2001, and now almost every business has a website, right? So blockchain's not going away,
Yeah.
but we need to have the product that brings it to the masses. And FriendsTech is a step nearer to it. So respect to them for the hard work that they've done, but I don't think that they're the lasting player in the space.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's Patreon, OnlyFans model, isn't it? It's you're buying access to one person, and the hope or the promise of some exclusive content for that purchase, which is fine, but it's not revolutionary. It already exists. I don't think that's the answer. With Pangaea, we've made sure that once you buy a subscription to Pangaea, every single piece of content is available to you. Like, that's the point. It's supposed to be a space where you're free from being the product. You're free from advertising. It's a space to stretch your legs. If you want to spend 30 minutes sitting on the toilet or something like a day, that's your internet time, that's your free fun time, that's fine. We don't need to prioritize having you glued as a product to the screen. It frees you up rather than locks you down.
That sounds really good, actually, because also what you said is if you're buying subscriptions per one content creator, it's kind of how much would you pay to follow like 1,000 of people, right? One content creator might be not enough for you to have enough
I mean,
content.
you're already seeing it. Like, now you've got BT Sport, Sky Sport, and then you've got Netflix, and then you've got Disney Plus, and you've got YouTube, and I mean, it's getting out of control, like cost wise, and it's getting crazy. So imagine if you had one place where you could get all of that content and pay one subscription without being a product. I'd
Uh,
sign up.
okay, so those are those really popular alternatives, or let's say teams that try to do what you are trying to do, but you kind of can learn from their mistakes and make something better. So what's next for Pangaea? What are you looking to do this year, next year, and what's your way forward?
Okay, well, the first thing that we're looking to do, what we're currently doing at the moment, is that we're working on our ideas with AZ to further engage the community. Our big goal with AZ is to get more users into AZ. That's really what we want to do. So we're looking at how we can work together with the guys to promote both Pangaea and Aleph Zero to a wider Web3 audience. We have developed a proof of concept demo. So for the product heads out there, we're very close to having something that we can show people. We don't want to put it too publicly, make it too publicly available, because obviously there are, as Lee always says, there are companies out there who are just waiting to look at products, reverse engineer them, and beat you to the launch. So we've got to be very careful about it. We've built the first community. So we currently got our Discord community, our Telegram community. We've got a wait list of about 500 people. out there. And yeah, that's kind of what we're doing on my side, which is sort of more the sort of marketing side. Is there anything that you want to add from the lab, so to speak, Lee?
We're all aware that crypto is gaining popularity and it is a big market. But if you look outside, like 99% of the world don't know what crypto is, don't know how it works, and that's a bridge we need to walk across. A lot of people are crypto literate, but we need to make the jump outside of this bubble, and that's what Panjea has always planned to do. We're aware that we're a crypto platform, but it just happens to be on the blockchain. The ideas and the philosophies of Panjea spread out outside of crypto, and that's where we go next. Just bridging to the real world outside. That's always been our goal.
What did you
Do you
call
want to? Yeah.
so, the Web3 platform for non-Web3 people? Yeah,
Yeah, it's probably needs a little bit more thinking about that strap line.
Yeah, but that's the sweet spot. That's what we need to do.
yeah,
Like to make people
yeah, and
use it without caring about is it Web3 or not.
yeah, and that's where we should also talk to about just one more shout out to our friends at A0ID. Some of the ideas that they've got in terms of the onboarding experience have been really good for us. We really like Mike and everything he's been saying to us. We see them as a crucial part of our story if we're going to get there. They're very exciting guys. And I guess on the final note is thank you to AZ, thank you to you, Matthias, and really more than anything else, thank you to the AZ community who have made us feel so welcome and a great bunch of guys.
Thanks that you guys chose easier to build the platform, and really we're looking forward to the developments, and I know the community is also excited, so we'll definitely be keeping everyone up to date with your progress. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Or would you have anything to add, guys? So yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in, and see you in the next episodes.
Brilliant.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.